Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I'm going to discuss filter modification functions in DAX. Okay, so while performing the calculation in Power BI, okay, by using calculate function, you will be able to modify the existing filter context, modifying the existing filters. Okay, and even to add the filters, we can use the Boolean filter expression or table filter expressions. Okay, apart from this, okay, there is one more way. So that DAX has few functions. That functions help us to modify the all other filters applied while performing the calculation. So that kind of functions we refer as an filter modification functions. Okay, and we have to see what and all the functions are there in DAX which we can use as a filter modification function. Okay, so what are the functions names you can see here on the screen, which is highlighted by the green color. These functions are filter modification functions, and this can be used in the calculate functions. Obviously, all these functions are going to return as a table. Okay, the return type of these functions is table, and let's see how this works, how this help us to modify the filters on existing table. Okay, let me say, let me add one of the visual here as a table. And if I bring the country, and here I have created one measure, okay, which is just a sum of sales amount. Okay, which is just a sales amount. Okay, so if I apply the filter here from this slicer, yes, it is able to filter. Even I can use. So all these slicers are working, right, with this measure. But I may want to perform the calculation in this way, in such a way that none of the filter should work on my calculation. When to use this kind of calculations or these kind of functions? Okay, let's say here you have to find the percentage of sales contribution by country. Okay, so if this is my 100%, okay, what is the percentage of Australia, what is the percentage of Canada in the total sales amount, what is the percentage of France? In this way, if you have to do the calculation, so what you need to do is you need to bring the, or you need to create the one more column which return us this total amount for all the countries, right? And even this is the way to do. But if I simply use the sum of sales, if I simply bring this measure, okay, which returns sum of sales, so implicit, meaning it automatically it is applying one filter. Okay, even though the filters which are coming from slicer, that filters are referred as an explicit filters. Okay, but because of relationship, anything is getting filtered in your visuals, so you can say that that type of filter is implicit filter, and I don't want any kind of filter, neither a explicit nor a implicit. So to achieve this kind of calculations, we need to create the measure with the help of calculate function. So here I am going to create the measure. Okay, so I will create the measure using calculate. So simply I will say this is going to return me the total sales. Okay, even I will write in this way. Total sales is equal to, okay, calculate. And obviously calculate is able to use the DAX also, which is we defined to return the sum of sales. Okay. If I use this, right, and if I bring it here on the table, it will give me the same result. Nothing is different. But here, by using calculate function, if you put the comma after the expression, here you can see that there is something called filter. And here it allows you to either add the filter or remove the filter by using filter Boolean filter expression, by using table filter expression, or by using the filter modification functions. So I am going to, if I return the table here, modified table here, so this will work for that specific table. Okay, whatever the table expression I will use here. And if I use all, which is a table, oh sorry, filter modification function, so this is going to return the table also. So even you can read here, okay, this returns, okay, what this returns, let's see. This returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column. Okay, if you specify column name, it will return all the values of that column. If you specify the table name, it will return all the rows in the table, ignoring any filter that might have been applied. So it will ignore all the filters which are applied on these visuals. Okay, either through the relationship, either through the slicers. Any kind of filter it will be able to remove. Okay, so if I say I wanted to remove the filters which are applied to sales table, meaning I wanted to return all the rows from sales table. Actually, this is not going to remove these filters. Okay, what it will do, it will, in this filter context, it will return the new table. Okay, and the table with all the rows, and based on that, this calculation is evaluated. As I said, right, even in case of calculate function, I discussed what will get evaluated first. So second, I mean the filters will get evaluated first, and then the expression will be evaluated in case of calculate. And this is what here happening. Okay, it will remove, meaning it will ignore. Actually, it is not going to remove anything filter, but it will ignore. It is not allowing to filter the data here in this table, the table which is returned by all function. Okay, and if I hit the enter button, you will see that what changes it does. So it has returned me this total value. Okay, the value which is here as a total, this value for all the rows, for meaning for all the countries, right? And if I use this expression to calculate the functions, meaning if I divide the total sales, which is getting automatically filtered by the country, right, implicitly, with this expression, so can I get the percentage of contribution of country in the total sales? Yes, we will be able to get that. So let's do that part. So I will directly use these two measure names. Okay, this is the first measure name, this is the second measure name. So let me select this. Okay, so another measures, no, country is coming from this, but okay, here it is, right? This is what the total sales, and this is what my total sales all. So I will name this as all. So I will use these two measures to perform the calculation to find out the percentage. Yes, this is possible. If I divide this number by this number, I will be able to get the percentage. So same thing I'm going to do here. I will say measure. Okay, and percentage, which is equal to, if I say, what is my first measure name? Total sales. If I perform the division by using operator, that is also fine. Total sales all. Okay, this is what my another measure. I will cover this in parenthesis, and then I am going to multiply this with 100. In this way, you can do the calculation. That is fine. If I bring this, it is going to shows the actual percentage of contribution of each country in total sales amount. Now, okay, there is one more function in DAX. The function name itself is divide, and you can specify the denominator and numerator. Even by using that function also, you will be able to perform the division. Okay, and here in this scenario, okay, you will be able to calculate the percentage contribution of any category. Okay, so here I used the country as a category. Even by using alls, we have created this, right? So this is, we can look at the value and we can say that the implicit function is, sorry, implicit filter is not working. Even if you apply the filter, okay, for 2001, 2002, 2003, even that case also, meaning the explicit filters are also not going to work in case of all. And what all is going to do? All is going to return the table by ignoring all type of filters. Okay, fine. So another function I'm going to discuss here is all except. Now let's see when all except work. Now what we did, we have removed each and every filter. We removed each and every filter from this calculation, okay, or whatever the measure we used here in calculate function, we used all function to remove each and every type of function. But okay, there may be a situation that you may want to see the values based on some categories. Like I would like to see the values for the occupations. Okay, and in that case, I wanted to remove. I wanted to see the percentage. Okay, occupation wise. If I select occupation from the slicer, it should mean the filter for this column, occupation column, should work. So in that case, what you can do, you can use all except function. All except in the name itself, it defines. Okay, how this is going to work, let's see. I'm going to create new measure. I will say total sales all except. This is the function name. This is what the syntax I follow. So I will say all except. This is what my function. But this can, okay, this is going to return me table, and I don't want to do that. Okay, what I want is I wanted to use this first, and then I will say total sales, and after this we have to remove the filters. I wanted to remove all the filters. Okay, from which table? Whatever the table. Okay, so we are taking the aggregation here from the sales table. So I wanted to remove all the filters from sales table. Okay, but the situation is that I wanted to keep the filter only for occupation. So here, once you define the table from which filters are to be removed, next you can specify the column name for which you wanted to keep the filter. You wanted to keep the filter, meaning for that column only filter should work. So I will say customer occupation, and now this defines. Okay, only one I am going to define the column here. Okay, now total sales all except. If I bring that, okay, you can see that until and unless I made the selection for the occupation, this will work very similar to the all, because this has removed each and every filter. The difference is that by using all except, you will be able to keep the filter for a specific column. Even in case of all functions, you will not be able to keep the filter. Okay. Externally, you can keep that, but that I will discuss in my next videos. By using all and keep filters, even all versus keep filter functions. So here, what is the difference between all? All will remove each and every type of filter. Even in case of all except is able to remove each and every type of filter. But it allows, all except allows you to define the column name for which your filter should work. And if I made the selection, okay, for the country, you can see that it is not going to affect anything. It is not going to work. The values will not get changed. Even if I made the selection for the category, in that case also it is not going to work. Because I simply specified here, my filter should work for occupation. Except occupation, clear all my filters. Okay, this is how it defines. Except customer occupation column, customer tables occupation column, remove every filter. That is what the meaning of all except from sales table. Fine. Now let me go to this occupation and apply the filter. Here in this case, you can see the values are getting changed, right? Earlier it was not changing. Even whatever the selection you made, nothing will happen in case of all, but in case of all except, whatever the column you will use to keep as a filter, okay, so that slicer is going to work. That slicer is going to work. Okay, so this is how the all and all except is going to help us. Okay, now when to use all except? So we understood that all is used whenever you have to remove the filter. Okay. So let's say you may want to find out the percentage, you may want to do this calculation, and very similar to the all, okay, you may want to find out the percentage. But for the different categories like occupation, I would like to see the percentage. Okay, percentage of contribution of each country in total sales amount by occupation. Okay, so this is how I would like to see. This looks a little bit weird, but yes, it is even more beautiful to perform, to see the numbers. Okay, I will create one more measure. And now I'm going to use these two columns. Okay, I will say percentage all except. Okay, so now what I will do, I will say divide. Divide is a function which is I'm going to use total sales, and then denominator is my total sales all except. Okay, this is what my denominator. Fine. This is what the measure. And if I'm going to multiply this with 100, it will return me the percentage number. If I use this here, now I would like to see the percentage by occupation for the professional. For the professional occupation, what is the contribution of each country in total sales for only this profession? So you can see that. Okay, so whatever the number you see here as a total number, which is filtered for all the countries when we have not used any kind of filter, right, which is very similar to all the rows. Okay, here it will come, the same number will reflect for all the places. And yes, the percentage we are getting is correct or not. You can simply say, by looking at this number, you can simply say the percentage we are getting for the professional is correct. Why? Because the total value here is same, right? If this is the different, you can say that your percentage are incorrect. right? This is how all and all except is going to work. The difference is that all will remove every kind of filter. All except will allow you to keep the filter for specific categories. Okay. So for what I did, I kept the filter for only one category. Even here in this case, you can add more columns. Okay. I used occupation. N number of columns you can specify. I will use day name. Okay. And if I hit the enter button, you can see even now filter for day name is also going to work, right? The values from this column is getting changed, right? And the percentage are getting calculated accordingly. So in this way, you can make the dynamic calculation and you can modify the filters by using filter modification function. Like this, we have more functions. I will discuss those functions in my subsequent video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.